I screamed and yelled and banged and cried until that didn't get me anything.
Derek remembers it like it was yesterday. His mother's live-in boyfriend had locked him in his bedroom for 30 days as a punishment for stealing a single piece of candy.
And I was beyond angry. I just wanted to smash everything and everybody around me.
Derek was given food, but had no books, toys, or TV during his 30 days of solitary confinement.
And it got to the point where my days and nights were mixing together. I mean, I reached what I think was a delusional state. Not being able to sleep at night, sleeping during the day.
Remarkably, his mother did nothing to rescue him.
And the hardest part of it all was that feeling of, I must be absolutely worthless.
That sense of worthlessness and self-loathing would stick with Derek long after his punishment was over. In fact, even from an early age, he learned how to medicate his emotional pain by using illegal drugs and alcohol.
At 8, my first drink was with my parents at a Mexican food restaurant. My first drugs came when I was 10 through my sister and her friends.
Derek's drug of choice at age 10 was marijuana.
I remember the feeling of, I started laughing and was laughing uncontrollably.
For the next decade, he medicated his emotional pain with alcohol and drugs.
Ecstasy was my favorite. It made me feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof and the smartest guy in the room. It was a way to suppress all of the feelings, the fear and the anxiety and the loneliness and, the self-loathing.
By the time he turned 20, Derek had burned out physically and emotionally, and he was facing prison. He'd violated a probation on an earlier charge. That's when it hit him.
When the truth set in, I saw what I was. I was a liar, a cheat, a thief, a dropout, a drug addict, and I knew I was going to jail.
With his worldly possessions in a plastic bag, Derek checked into a Christian rehab center. It was there, through the counsel of a staff member, that he had his first real encounter with God.
And he said, the only way that you're going to be able to win this battle is with God's help. And I told him I didn't believe in God. I had never gone to church. It just wasn't a part of my life.
Back at his bunk, Derek got on his knees and prayed the first prayer that he had ever prayed.
And I said, God, I feel like a fool being here on my knees, and I don't even know that you exist, but I need help.
That was Derek's turning point. The next day, he returned to the staff member's office and for the first time on his knees prayed to receive Jesus as Savior. Over the next year, Derek wrestled with his addictions in group meetings and living with other recovering alcoholics, but he never took another drink. When he left rehab, Derek married and began to work in sales and marketing. Within 5 years, he and his wife started a high-end landscaping design company, which quickly became the largest and most respected in Houston. When he sold that company 5 years after he started it, he became an instant millionaire. But Derek's reaction to success was surprising.
There was a very small amount of bliss. There was maybe an afternoon of bliss after we had sold the company and saw the money and the wire transfer. And then the next day it was, is this it?
Over the years that Derek had been running the business, he had drifted from God. He says that caused a growing void inside.
There was a God-sized hole that I was trying to put everything other than God into. Shopping and traveling and everything else. And all those things stopped working. And so the last resort for me was to either kill myself or to drink again.
That's when Derek sensed a quiet voice inside tell him to call his sponsor. His sponsor urged him to pray.
When I prayed and I hit my knees in my closet, I invited God in to have all of me, and that it was like immediately all of those thoughts of drinking and going back to that and hating who I was, and at that point was removed.
Over the past few years, Derek has been serving other recovering alcoholics at the Christian Rehab Center where he found hope. And he published his first book, called Addict at 10, his life story. But ask him what is most important to him now, and he'll tell you it's spending time with the 2 children he and his wife have been able to adopt.
Bedtime's the best time when we read books. I don't know, just praying with him at night and just, he just doesn't have to go through what I had to go through. The cycle is broken. The cycle is broken. What Christ has done for me is available to anyone. Christ is the solution. Christ is the answer.